Alrighty then. Well, with games coming and going left, right, and center, and Ubisoft at the center of a massive controversies fucking everywhere, I thought I'd rein in on this old parade. And a prime example of the shit decisions that Ubisoft keep making is Skull and Bones, where the decision to get rid of land based combat and exploration is simply fucking mind bogglingly dumb game design choice. And whew, did that game ever fucking fail? And you know what? It's these stupid decisions that seemingly don't even come from people who play video games. For example, Yasuke in the new Assassin's Creed Shadows, why did they make him a black guy? I mean, you really gotta fucking ask yourself that question. Why spoil what could have been an amazing game with a character nobody asked for, nobody wanted, and feels incredibly out of place? And it's a crying shame because Ubisoft artists can make incredible titles. And I'm going to talk about one of those today that's near and dear to my heart, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Now, regardless of how you feel about Ubisoft or any of the games that they make, one cannot deny that this is simply one of the best open world Greece games in ever made, and at the moment, probably for a long time will be. There's plenty of unrealism in Odyssey, but most of the game is held intact by a very believable setting and a very incredible open world that you can explore seemingly endlessly, and missions and quests pretty much everywhere. And yes, it's got Ubisoft copy and paste formula, but it all fits together so nicely and so tightly in a wonderful package. Ubisoft can make great open worlds, and although they feel somewhat unlived in, say, to the likes of Skyrim or such, they are simply incredible representations of a working society. Uh, and this game, Odyssey, is like the hallmark of this design. And the fantastic quest structure and story structure and dialogue is just a wonder to behold. You know, you end up loving these characters. I play as Alexio, and he's just such an awesome character that you really look up to, and he feels so believable in this open world. He's just an everyman Spartan soldier who rises up the ranks and becomes, assassin, and under the guise of the assassin's way, it leaves a lot to be to you know for the Assassin's Creed storyline. It is what it is, but it really makes for a great just basic line of characters that wherever setting you put them in, they become an ultimate warrior, so to speak. The world in Odyssey is simply gorgeous. And it's a wonder just to roam around and check things out. And that's the kind of gaming that I love, is one that you can just deeply immerse yourself in. And I wish there was more you could do, opening up taverns and building bases and stuff like that. But Odyssey gives you a very good basic design for just roaming around an open world and just checking things out and completing quests and checking boxes and discovering. It's an amazing game. It's one of my faves out there. And it has its ups and downs. I mean, there's a lot of bugs in Ubisoft games. There always is. There's always jankinesses, and you'll see things sometimes clipping. You'll see glitching units, bodies floating up into the sky, weird shit like that. But for the most part, the games hold themselves mostly intact. So, I mean, it proves that the artist conglomerate that is Ubisoft can make great games. They have the abilities, they have the tools, they have the technology to make incredible open world games. But the direction and management of this company is just sending this artistic integrity into the fucking toilet. Take, for example, Tom Clancy's Breakpoint and Tom Clancy's Wildlands, but we're talking about Breakpoint here. Is that Breakpoint to me was a fabulous game. I loved it. It bombed. It was a game that people didn't really like and was considered a failure. And that's the kind of shit that happens with Ubisoft. Sometimes the most anticipated games end up being shitty, and sometimes just generally mediocre games end up being a very good time. Did Breakpoint have its downfalls? Of course it did. But when you want to just shut your mind off with a buddy and go on a crazy military shooter adventure, there's simply nothing that can be beat like Wildlands and Breakpoint. They games that have their ups and downs, but generally they're great open worlds, and the technology is fascinating in these games because Ubisoft appears to have the ability to make gigantic open worlds, have the ability for you to seamlessly transition around them, and have a fairly competent story structure where you can see your character talking, where you can talk to NPCs, where you can fulfill objectives just over a vast open world. And games like Assassin's Creed Odyssey show you that this technology can allow for some truly incredible experiences. And can also, like upcoming games, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Skull and Bones, and games like Star Wars Outlaws proves that under bad direction, this can be very, very poorly used to push DEI politics and to really, really hurt what could have been an amazing adventure. Just think about what this technology could have been used with the right set of hands. I mean, we could have a Lord of the Rings game where you get to explore all of Middle Earth. They have the technology. They proved that they have the artists that can create these things. But it just seems like at the top of Ubisoft, there's some very stupid people making very stupid decisions to push political agendas and possibly their own personal beliefs. We didn't want to play as a black dude in the upcoming game about Japanese history. But thankfully, with Odyssey, you can play as just a random Greek man who's going about his day and who becomes this incredible warrior. And some of the stuff in the unrealistic parts of Odyssey, where there's minotaurs and Atlantis, are just a sight to behold and truly a beautiful, beautiful moment in gaming. But in typical Ubisoft fashion, as I knew way back at playing 360, playing the original Assassin's Creed game, is that Ubisoft games are very pretty on the outside, but under the hood, they're just kind of very basic in some ways. Yeah, my views on Assassin's Creed Odyssey won't ever change no matter how stupid Ubisoft continues to be. But I mean, it's real show that you can take great artists, you can take amazing people capable of creating these incredible experiences and send them in a just horrible direction, horribly led, and just utterly ruin what could have been a fantastic product. I think that's what you're gonna see in the upcoming Assassin's Creed Shadows and Outlaws is that DEI politics and all this weirdness and wokeness is just gonna get in the way of what we really want, which is incredible, authentic adventures that feel amazing. And you know what? Ubisoft games never feel as lived in or explorable as the Bethesda titles like Skyrim, but you know what? They make incredible open worlds, and the graphical potential of these games are incredible, and Ubisoft needs credit for that. They just have to get some of this management team under control because they're fucking idiots and they keep making horrible game design choices. So Ubisoft has some amazing titles, but let's hope that they turn everything around and don't continue shoveling out the same fucking shit they have been in the last little bit. But I'm not holding my breath.